So, children, today we are going to begin with a new chapter in political science, that is the constitutional design. Chapter 3. Children, in the previous chapter, that is what is democracy and why democracy, we have seen that rulers are not free to do what they like. They have to follow certain basic rules that the citizens and the government have to follow. And all these rules together, they are called the constitution. This constitution, it becomes the supreme law of the country, and it also determines the right of the citizens, the powers of the government, and how the government should function. So in this chapter, you are going to ask some basic questions about this constitutional design of a democracy. That is, why do we need a constitution? How are the constitution drawn up? Who designs them? And in what way? What are the values that shape the constitutions in democratic states? And once the constitution is accepted, can we make changes later as required by the changing conditions? So, we have seen that in designing constitution for a democratic state, we are going to discuss about the South Africa, and we are going to see what happened there, how the South Africans went about the designing of the constitution. Then after that, we are going to discuss about the Indian constitution, how it was made, what are its foundational values, and how it provides a good framework for the conduct of citizens' life and that of the government. So what do you mean by constitutional design? The lesson itself portrays that the way the constitution is designed is called as a constitutional design. So children, I would like to tell you what is a constitution. Here it is written that constitution, it is a set of rules in a country. It is a set of rules in a country which are accepted by all the people living together in a country. It becomes the supreme law also of the country, which determines the relationship among the people, those who are living in that territory, in that area, and also it shows the relationship between the people and the government. It means the constitution. Okay? In the same way, I can give you an illustration from our school itself. You have seen that in our school that we have set of rules which we, the student, as well as the teachers, as well as the other people, those who are doing the work in the school, have to follow it. And the school rules and regulations, they become the supreme law of the school itself. It shows the relationship between the teachers and the students, okay, by following these rules. And in order to avoid the chaos in the school, we are supposed to follow it. Side by side, the second is, it also generates a degree of trust and coordination among the people. Okay? Is it clear? Due to this supreme law, it creates a degree of trust among the citizens of the country, and side by side also creates a coordination among the peoples as well as the government. Third is constitution, it also specifies the power over the government, and side by side it also tells us how the government should function. Okay, government powers are described in it. The government is supposed to follow according to the rules which are laid down in the constitution of the country. On that basis only the government can exercise the power. If the rules are not there, government will be at their own fray. They can do whatever they like. So the rules have been described over there in the constitution itself. The government is supposed to work within that framework itself. Side by side, constitution also limits the powers of the government and ensures certain rights of the people also. In the constitution, the powers of the government have been given, and restrictions have also been laid on the powers of the government, and side by side there are certain rights also for the people of the country also, according to which the people have to work. Okay. Now the second question arises, why do we need a constitution? Okay, why the constitution is required? Suppose children in a school, if we are not going to have any rules and regulation in the school, what's going to happen? Think over it. In the class itself, we are having certain rules and regulations in the class itself. That means you're not supposed to move out from the class in between the lecture. Okay, you're not supposed to drink the water when the teacher is teaching in the class. You're not supposed to harm other person. You're not supposed to steal others property. Okay, you're not supposed to move around in the class. These are the certain rules and regulations according to which our class works. In the same way, our school is also working on the same basis. We follow the rules and regulation. That means we have proper time to come to the school. We have certain timetable also according to which the period goes on in the school. And there is a dress code also. You are supposed to come in that particular uniform which has been prescribed by the school management. So these are the certain things which we have to follow. Otherwise, you know what is going to happen? There will be a lot of chaos in the school. Okay, so in the same way, the constitution is required for a country also, and only the way to build and maintain trust among the diverse groups of people. Okay, we are having a diverse group of people in our country, and in order to bring a trust among the people, various diverse group of people in the country, those who are having different kinds of opinion, those who are having different interests, it is to write down some rules that everyone should obey. Okay, number one, first of all, why the constitution is required? To build up the trust among the various opinions and various groups of people in the country. The certain rules of the country has been written down, and these rules has to be obeyed by everyone. Secondly, side by side, it is also necessary to limit the powers of the elected government. Okay, lest otherwise what is going to happen? That government is going to misuse the powers. Is it clear? अगर कोई रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन नहीं होगा तो गवर्नमेंट क्या है, अपना मनचाही कर सकती है. ओके, सो गवर्नमेंट अपनी पावर को मिसयूज ना कर सके. दीज रूल्स हैव बीन प्रिस्क्राइब्ड इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ अ country. Side by side, it also safeguards the rights of the people. Okay, we are having certain rights, fundamental rights in the constitution of a country. Is it clear? So people's rights have also been safeguarded in the constitution of a country. If anyone is going to harm any individual person, if government is going to harm any individual citizens of the country, these rights have been given in the constitution of a country, against which we can sue the person in the court itself, in the Supreme Court or in the High Court, if our rights have been abolished by the government of the country. Okay, now let's move further. This South Africa, children, I would like to tell you, it has been deleted from the syllabus of our this year's syllabus in 9th standard. So only little thing I would like to tell you about South Africa. In a brief, I would like to tell you, so that the things become convenient for you when I'm going to move further and discuss about the Indian Constitution. Children, I would like to tell you, in South Africa, racism existed over there. Okay, that is called as apartheid. Apartheid is a kind of a racial discrimination. Racial means between the black and the white people. The people were discriminated on the basis of their color in South Africa. Okay, so these European countries, when they colonized South Africa, they started discriminating the local people over there. Black peoples are mostly found over there. They started discriminating these people over there, and they were very oppressive with these blacks. Okay, they discriminated. They have having a separate bus. They were not supposed to move in the white people bus, not even their train also. They can't even go in the white people hospital. Their hospitals were separate, their schools were separate, library were separate, churches were separate. These black people were not supposed to enter the area where these white people were residing. So such kind of discrimination existed in South Africa at that time, which is called as a apartheid. After this, there was a long struggle. Even they have banned the political parties over there. So 1950, these non-white people, that is the black people, they fought against these apartheid system over there. They formed African National Congress. But the white racist government, they continued to rule by torturing and killing thousands of people over there. Okay, you can see over here. You can see caution, caution. Just see the caution. Beware of the natives. Okay, let's move further now. Okay, apartheid. European hospital is different, non-European hospital is different. How the struggle started against these white people. You might have heard about the Nelson Mandela also. He was the main person who fought against this system. After that, a new constitution was formed, and a very beautiful constitution. This constitution, which was formed, is in South Africa. It is a real. It has set a good example in front of the various countries of the world, in which the equal power was given to the white as well as the black people over there. Now we'll come to the making of the Indian Constitution. Okay, I would like to tell you this Constitution, which was made up in our country, it was under very difficult circumstances. Why difficult circumstances? Because मेकिंग ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन फॉर सच अ बिग कंट्री, फॉर सच अ डाइवर्स कंट्री, जहाँ पे डिफरेंट डिफरेंट रेस के लोग, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट रिलीजन के लोग, कल्चर के लोग, लैंग्वेज के लोग रहते हैं, एंड ओपिनियंस के भी साथ में, आई वुड लाइक टू एड यू, इट वॉज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू ड्रॉ अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन फॉर दिस कंट्री, बिकॉज एट दैट टाइम पीपल ऑफ इंडिया, they were emerging from the status of subjects to that of citizen. Status of subject to that of citizens, what do you mean by that? That means at that time, subject means we were under the control of the Britishers. When we got the independence, we became the citizens of our country. So our country was born through a partition on the basis of the religious differences. Okay, and side by side, it was a very traumatic experience, a very undesired experiences which people had after the partition of the country in India and Pakistan. Next, already you know what kind of consequences were met with the people after the division. Side by side, when the Britishers left the country, what happened? They left it to the rulers. In our country, there were around 543 princely states. Okay, so the Britishers left it into the hands of the rulers of these princely states, that whether they wanted to merge with India or with Pakistan, or what, or if they wanted to remain independent, it was up to them. So this was also very difficult problem for the unification of these princely states. Okay, to unify all these princely states into a one country, because Britishers have totally left it up to them, to these princely states rulers, that if they want to join a Pakistan, they can join with them, or if they want to join with India, they can join with India, or if they want to remain independent, they can remain independent also. Okay, so this was also a very difficult task after the independence. So when this constitution was being written, the future of country did not look at that time as it is secured today. So these makers of the constitutions, they have various anxieties also. They were worried about the present as well as the future of the constitution. So these are the main topic. First question is, what do you mean by constitution? Second question is, why do we need a constitution? And the third is, constitution, a challenging task for the constitution makers of our country. So these are the 5 points which you are supposed to write. What were the various problems faced by the constitution makers of our country while making the constitution of a country. So this much for today. Now tomorrow I am going to discuss about the path of the constitution. My next video, the path of the constitution and the making of the constituent assembly.